Welcome back to AgriTalk as we broadcast from the Missouri State Fair in Sedalia, Missouri, broadcasting from the building for the Association of Missouri Electric Cooperatives, and we always appreciate their hospitality. Usually we are in here just really loving the fact we have air conditioning because it's hot outside. Today it is so pleasant outside. We could be out there and be just fine. The weather was very hot and steamy and stormy at the beginning of the run of the fair, but has certainly improved now. And joining us to talk about that is Mark Wolfe, who's the Missouri State Fair Director. Mark, welcome back to AgriTalk. It was a rough start for you. Lost a big crowd, at least a grandstand show Friday night because of the weather.
That's correct. We did. We tried to make that thing go. We got into a little situation where we had some hit and miss rain that was getting close, and it just happened to drop a little farther south when we went about the time we were ready to go. And so we did get the opening act off, but the main act we ended up having to cancel that show that night.
Which is always one of the risks. We know what happened at the Illinois State Fair in Springfield. We'll be there tomorrow, but they lost their big concert Friday night. One of the risks you have with an outdoor show, but that's hard to recover from because you make that commitment to bring in the entertainment, and that can really hurt financially.
Well, it is a blow, and you certainly hate to have something like that happen. It doesn't happen very often. In my time here, we did have Leroy's group get rained out last year on Wednesday night, and they tried to make that go, but we just couldn't. The rain set in and it wouldn't go away. So one of those things doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's certainly not something that you certainly in my chair, it's not something I like to have to report back to folks. So, but you know what, we're doing good. We had great crowds, even in the heat. I was really surprised at our crowds the first 3 days. So had a huge crowd out here yesterday as this weather broke, and it couldn't be any more beautiful than it is out here today. And I just encourage folks to get out to the fair.
Yeah, it was a tremendous crowd here last night. As you say, it's so comfortable now. If you're want to come to a state fair, now would be a good time to do it. Now, what do you have? What are some of your highlights for this coming week?
Well, I would like to point out that today is Farm Family Day here on the fairgrounds, and Farm Bureau is sponsoring that, and a lot of activities over at their brand new building. If you haven't been over and seen that, if you're coming out to the fairgrounds, you've got to go by there. They spent most of the last year working on that and completely renovated that thing, and it is really nice, and we're real proud of them. I know Charlie's real proud of that building over there. It looks great. They're hosting and sponsoring the day. We've got farm families from every county in the state, I believe, going to be here today that had won those contests or won those awards, not a contest, but won the awards, and we'll be celebrating with them this evening for sure with an award banquet and some things like that. So that's kind of our highlight issue as far as on grounds. We're getting into our motorsports starting today. Our tractor pool finals start this morning, I think about 1 o'clock or 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, somewhere there. But anyway, that's going on all day. We get into our first racing event tomorrow night, and then we're back into their concerts through the rest of the week. Wednesday we'll have Leroy. He wanted to come back and do his again this year, and we're glad that he was willing to do that after the rain out last year. So got a great show with them on Wednesday night. For some of those folks who's my age, I guess maybe the
Leroy Van Dyke.
That's right. Excuse me. I'm so used to talking to him, I just call him by Leroy. Yeah, Leroy Van Dyke and the Country Gold Tour. Thursday night, we've got Three Dog Night in the Grassroots for a little classic rock.
Now you're into my era now.
That's right. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And then Friday, Darius Rucker and the band Perry, and then we end up at the last Saturday night with Sheryl Crow and Colby Calais. So we got a lineup.
How are your livestock numbers this year?
Looking pretty good. We've been trying to track that real close day to day. We always have some concerns. A lot of times you get pretty good entry numbers, but when you get to the actually shown, sometimes there's a very and I think that probably the heat the first few days will some of those numbers. I think there were some folks that were concerned with the heat and which is the appropriate thing to do. So I'm going to guess that some of those numbers are down. We're still trying to tabulate some of that, but the entries were just as good as they were last year.
Well, that's good news. Now, what about the grounds themselves? Have you made many changes, structural improvements, or updates on the ground?
Well, last couple of years, everybody knows what the economy and the state's budgets is like, and we really haven't had much funding for that kind of thing. The Missouri State Fair Foundation has really bailed us out over the last year and a half with funds to work on some of the stuff out here. But, we got a lot of the streets resurfaced this year, which was really nice through MoDOT, and finished some second wave of campground improvements out in the outer public campground. Got a lot more 50-amp service out there, and it's all brand new. So, we continue to work on the things we can afford to work on, and maybe if we hadn't lost that concert tonight, we'd work on a little more, but that's one of those things.
Important, though, for folks to support the fair because you offer all this and you need their support, don't you?
Well, we do, and I think the State Fair Foundation is a great way to do that. That group is really reorganizing right now the way that they do their run their program, and they've got a new executive secretary with Jeremy Parsons, and he's just fantastic. He is high energy, and I look for great things through the foundation.
Well, it's great family entertainment, and you have a wonderful setting here. It's very much an agriculture-based fair and a great place for families. We see a lot of families out here, so weather's good. Come on out and enjoy the fair, right?
You bet. We're looking forward to a long week here with nice weather, so I think there's a lot of opportunities over the next several days to get out here, and it's just beautiful out here right now.
Great, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Mark Wolfe, he's the State Fair Director here for the Missouri State Fair. And again, the weather is great. Come on out and join us. If you're in the Sedalia area at all, come on in. We're heard locally here on KSIS, and we thank our affiliate KSIS for carrying AgriTalk. We have Missouri agriculture lined up and ready to be heard from. Stay with us. That's next on AgriTalk.